Hey, everybody. Welcome to the TalkativeChic Podcast. I'm your host, Susanna Rodriguez. Today's guest is Chicago stand-up comic Abi Sanchez. He's been hitting the Chicago scene for 12 years now, doing stand-up comedy. He is great. You've got to catch him out in Chicago. Follow him on social media to find out where he's next. But we talked about comedy. We talked about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard and the whole trial. We talked about food, best Chicago pizza out there, best Puerto Rican food out there. We had a great conversation. I was very fortunate to have him on the podcast, and I really hope you enjoy it. Please hit the like button, subscribe, comment, share, tell people about this podcast. I have a great fun time filming it, and I really hope you have a fun time listening to it. Have a good one. Thanks. With Abi Sanchez. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you for having me.
I have a confession. I've been saying your name wrong forever. It's somebody corrected me. I was calling you Abby.
Everyone does. There's only one person that really truly bothers me. I won't get into him, but it's like a legit beef. So, but everyone else, I just let it go, and then eventually they figure out and like, how come you never told me? He's like, well, I did, and then you just never corrected yourself.
Right.
A lot of black comics don't care. They just keep saying Abby. I'm like, all right. They're not doing it maliciously, so it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
When it's malicious and I know you, like, I know you know my name.
You're doing it on purpose? Yeah.
I know you know my name.
Yeah.
So why are you doing this?
That's true. Just to irk me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why. And I'm a Hispanic, so I'm Mexican, so I know Spanish. So it's like, it makes sense now that it's
But
Abi.
you're also Midwesterns. And so your A's are ass. You're like, hey, it's Abby. Because I'll go to New York and they'll be like, oh, it's Abi. Because their A's are different. Their A's are always Oz on the East Coast.
That's interesting.
Yeah, like listen to them say water. Like, well, it's never water.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So like as you get to the further west you go, your A's get drawn out like So it's like, hey, it's Abby. I'm like, all right. And I got beef with all Abigails of the world now.
Yeah,
because
right.
They're all going by ABI, and it's instead of ABBY.
Ooh.
So now it's really messing up the algorithm because I'm legit the only male Abi, ABI.
Yeah.
Like if I search it, I'm the only male that pops up in the listing.
And it's unique.
And then there's so many women out there that just have their name like Abby. I was like, no, why didn't you go by it? So I'm trying to get my Instagram handles right, but all these women decided to switch up on me. I don't know. So maybe I should just go by ABBI and just mess them all up.
Oh, wow. Is that a Greek letter? I don't know if that's maybe not. Two B's. Maybe think of an ABBA. I'm thinking of the band ABBA.
Yeah, that's definitely not Greek.
Wow. Did you watch the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial?
I didn't watch the trial specifically, but I did follow all the TikToks and all the IG reels and stuff. So I was like, and granted, it's very biased. It was nothing that was pro Amber Heard. Everything was like, this girl's dumb. The Camille Velasquez.
She's amazing, isn't she?
She's
a beast.
It was just hilarious that the other team didn't know what to do. They were just like,
yeah,
man. And the judge was like, yeah, you're dumb. Like Amber's lawyers were probably the worst lawyers I've ever.
Oh yeah.
For a celebrity.
Yeah, for sure. The judge, I was like, I mean, kudos to her and her patience, because the Amber Heard's lawyer wanted to argue with her. Like, I've never seen that before, like other than maybe on a weird TV show. But like, if it's objection and the judge says sustained, she would fight. She'd be like, Your Honor, I'm trying to prove whatever. And it's like, you know, that judge could have been like, I'm the judge now.
I bet you that judge loved Pirates of the Caribbean or something. Or like Cry Baby. It was her favorite movie growing up. And she's like, Johnny Depp's winning this trial.
I'm sustaining all of it. All of it is sustained.
She's like, I cry with a single tear because of Johnny Depp. But it was just good to see, like, oh, she got exposed. Like, because it really, women got to feel some kind of way about this.
Yeah, right? I do.
Because it's kind of just like, at one point we were all believe all women.
Yes.
And then now it's like, can we? because this one just took a shit in Johnny Depp's bed. So are we gonna believe that?
And blamed it on two little quiet, innocent dogs. I hate that. Why is it the dog's fault?
Like, I know it was a human because it was definitely not those dogs.
Oh yeah, I feel really weird about it. Like I was obsessed with it, where I had it on like all day long. I mean, there was a couple days I missed because you have life, but like I have a job where I can. I mean, I hope my job doesn't get mad.
But what was that?
Where I can
was
work on it and I can,
It was just on the internet.
Yeah, it was on Facebook Live. Like you could just. I mean, there was like 3 or 4 different way. I think Daily Mail had it, ABC had it, whatever you wanted to do. So like I would hit one. If there was an ad, I'd go to the second one. I'm like, I don't want an ad. I want to see this.
See, I only watched highlights. Like it was ESPN. Like,
you just watched you got the like cliff notes of the trial. And then like they had it on Court TV. So I mean, I got obsessed to the point where I had Court TV on and thing. And then it's like if they were taking a break or they were doing a commentary, I'd be like, okay, let's go back to Court TV.
This was your March Madness where you just flipping channels, going back and forth. Like, all right, maybe they got a different angle.
Yes, I should have totally done bets and stuff. I would be rich. Yes, this was totally my March Madness. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, what's bizarre is back in January of, wrote it down, I think it was like 2019, I saw Amber Heard in person. Okay, my friend and I, we went to California, and I'm a big Soundgarden Chris Cornell fan. So when he passed away, that was a hard day for me. And they had a tribute concert his wife was throwing. So I went to California to see the tribute concert, and it was like hours and hours, like different bands. It was amazing. It was like 5 hours. I'm a big music person too. I love the stage for a lot of reasons, but I really love music. And so I went to that. My friend came along. I met her through acting. Her name is Barbara. And we went to the Chateau Marmont, where, you pay like $26 for Eggs Benedict. But believe me, it is amazing Eggs Benedict.
It's probably the best. There's a limit on breakfast.
Yeah, right?
Because the cost of eggs.
That yeah.
So it's like, I know these are 79
that Hollandaise sauce.
But it's like, all right, $26 for scrambled eggs.
And all you can drink coffee. I mean, like we drank mega pints of coffee.
What's a mega pint? Is just a regular? Is that just like 2 pints?
Yeah. Did you see that on the trial too?
No.
This is a Johnny Depp reference. Okay, so Johnny Depp. Okay, that video, that crazy video where she, was like videotaping it, and he slams some cabinets and stuff, and then he pours a bottle of wine into this big glass, kind of beautiful glass like cup or whatever. I don't know. And so he's on the stand, and the lawyer for her, Amber Heard's lawyer, which he had a horrible, annoying voice. Didn't I read that correctly? But anyway, so he's like, so you poured yourself a mega pint of wine. And he goes, a mega pint? There is no such thing as a mega pint. It's a pint.
Yeah. And
now, you can call it, a gargantuan pint, but it's still a pint.
That's why they lost. They were inventing new numbers or new scales. I don't know. New
scales. So there's like this shirt, like, I want to drink a mega pint, and it's got like Johnny Depp. I want one.
They're gonna make so much money.
People. I know, right? It's like all the Etsy people out there making things, whatever. But at any rate, so we're at this fancy restaurant, and I was just giddy because I had just seen Marissa Tomei. I was like, oh my God, that's Marissa Tomei. And she was dressed up really nicely, like gorgeous red coat and whatever. I was like, oh my God. And then we're sitting there, and they have like a policy where you can't take pictures of celebrities, and you really can't, that's their like safe space, their safe zone. And all of a sudden she walks in, and I was just like, oh, I mean, my mouth just dropped, and I was like, oh, it's Amber Heard, And I think it dropped because I had just seen that movie with her and James Franco. It was called Adderall Diaries.
See, the only thing I ever seen with her in it was that I can recall was Aquaman, and then I didn't even remember she was in it. I was like,
that's so unmemorable.
Yeah, I was like, who is she? And then they showed, because she just looks like every other blonde white lady.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they just kind of blend into each other. I was like, who is that? And then like, oh, okay, she played that character. But,
and I think she had red hair in it too, so that's going to throw off.
So it was just like, she could have been anybody. She Emma Stone. I don't know. It was just
Emma Stone. Yeah. So I remember like we were just so shocked to see her, and I think like, are you a believer like men know men and women know women, right? Like you can kind of probably pull out a player in the card, you know, like you're like, that guy's a player, like, or that guy's a family man or whatever. And so we were standing there watching her, and like neither one of us were like, oh, this is the kind of girl we would want to hang out with. Like, she just, her stance and her walk was kind of a little arrogant. Like she walked around like she owned the Chateau Marmont with $26 eggs Benedict. But it was crazy because I was looking at Facebook yesterday, and so she wrote that op-ed in December. I know it's like irony. December of 2018. I saw her January of 2019, and he sued her March of 2019. So all of that was happening when I saw her. It's bizarre.
So he sued her 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and they finally just went to trial?
Yeah, and I think because of COVID, maybe? Like, it took forever.
They're like, no, we got to make sure everyone can be in a courtroom. You can't do this virtual. This has to be.
Yes, everybody needs to see this.
Yeah, and then they did it, where was it, in Carolina or something like that?
No, it was Fairfax County, Virginia.
Virginia.
Yeah, and the reason for that, I know, this is a great reason. Okay, so her article that defamed him, or he was like, she defamed me, was in the Washington Post. And the Washington Post has their servers in Fairfax, Virginia. Isn't that crazy? So because of that law, wherever the server is where it needed to be.
Okay.
So it's kind of weird. Like, the jury would be Virginia people.
Right.
And I wonder how it would have been different if it would have been in California, you know?
Yeah, because I know everyone in Virginia probably knows Johnny Depp.
Yeah,
but not everyone in Virginia knows who Amber Heard is.
No, probably
so it's just
not.
a level of fame that just worked out in his favor there too. It's like, all right. I'm pretty sure his lawyers fought for the trial to be in Virginia, so that way
I would think so too.
Yeah, because if you go into LA, it's like, oh, we got to believe all women.
Yeah,
you go to Virginia, we're a little backwards, and they know women lie. Like, we gonna do it. And that's Johnny Depp. Yeah, we want that guy.
My cousin Sally lied about her husband.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. I agree. I feel like that's a big point too.
I think the lawyers might have had something like, oh, well, this happened here, so technically we got a file here.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. And people were lining up like at midnight the night before to try to get into the trial. I think that's phenomenal.
Like, they were just camping out.
And they had to make a rule. You could not get into line till 1 a.m. They had to put a sign up. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, you know what? When all of that came out, and it's kind of weird because, you know, we're in our own little lives sitting back, you know, peons. These stars are out there. And you're just like, and I'm like, you know, that just doesn't seem like Johnny Depp. Like, I did have that thought. I was like, that doesn't seem like Johnny Depp. You know, he seems like so nice.
Yeah, but Bill Cosby didn't seem like Bill Cosby. So, like, there's.
Yeah, and I never thought Will Smith would slap somebody in front of America.
I never thought Will Smith would slap somebody.
Oh, that was a hard day for me, too, because I love Will Smith. I had just went to his book tour.
That
was crazy.
I didn't hear about it until I saw someone post about it on social media. And I was like, wait. So I went and I looked it up, and I thought it was a gag and then I watched it. I was like, oh, he was serious.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a very weird slap. I mean,
yeah.
But then, like, I can't imagine just getting slapped at the Oscars on TV. Like, that was.
I know.
That was some wild shit that happened. And I just don't understand. Wild. I just didn't get it. I was just like, why would he slap him? And then he got banned for 10 years.
Yeah. I don't know what to feel about that either. Is it punishment enough or not?
I mean, I guess he didn't press charges. So, but still, it was just like, I don't know. It was just a weird thing to see Will Smith smack Chris Rock at the Oscars on live TV.
Yeah, for sure. It was shocking to me too. And I was in denial for a while. I thought the same thing. I was like, is this planned out? And then when he walked I didn't like the walk back. He was really proud of himself. And then the talk, like the whole, I was like, oh my God, he's serious. Like, he does not want him to say anything about his
I think they had previous beef because he had made a joke about Jada at like another Oscar. So I think there was some little beef there. But I think... And then Jada came. I was like, I hope they can reconcile. Like, you're just saying it because Amber Heard lost a bunch of money, and now we think you're crazy lady too. So,
yeah, it's time for crazy people, crazy women in Hollywood, I guess, right? Yeah. I mean, it's time for that.
But then we need people to step up and sue them.
Yeah,
those brave men.
Yeah, those poor brave men. I know. I have 2 brothers, and I have a lot of guy friends, and I'm just not one of those like male hater females, you know, that like rant about how horrible men are. You know, I feel like everywhere you go, you're going to encounter bad people.
Yeah.
And
there's bad people on all sides.
And for every one bad Harvey Weinstein, there's like 100 good guys out there that wouldn't do that, right? Or, you know.
The ones that aren't going to get talked about because they didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't do anything, like you're just a regular person, like they don't talk about you. But if you do some creepy shit, then it's like, I mean, you see it even just doing comedy, like, oh, that comic's creepy. He did something real creepy. He'll ban him from here. I was like, all right. Like, but that doesn't mean that every guy is creepy. Like, sometimes you hear like female comics like bash guy like is being creepy. I was like, nah, we're just regular people. Like, we know how to interact.
Yeah, I think
yes,
so.
There are some creepy guys, but there's like creepy everybody.
Yeah, you can't lump everybody together and be like, oh, and then it gets kind of overboard the other way. Like he looked at me funny or whatever, or I think he did this, and it's like, I think
you get to the
benefit
point
of
where
the
you
doubt.
go too far, and everyone's like, nah, I'm gonna start pushing back on that. Like now I know. Now we got Amber Heard. Now we know you guys are all crazy.
Now you have a poster child for
right. This is why we shouldn't believe
females.
all women.
It's Amber Heard. Yeah,
she had to
very crazy.
Had to give back the money that she was supposed to give away.
Yeah, that was crazy too. You know what? I watch TMZ all the time. I'm like a TMZ person, and they had verified that she had given the $7 million. So somehow she lied. Like somehow the camp or whatever, because they said, "Oh yeah, she did give the $7 million."
Is another one that I think is going to get messed. Like they're going down soon too.
You think so?
The credibility with TMZ is going to go away so fast.
Really?
Yeah. Because they'll take people's videos and then they'll post them as if like, oh, it's theirs.
Yeah.
And then like people's like, nah, how did you get that if it wasn't from me? Because I was in the room. Like they'll get video and it's like, oh no, we got to pull a retraction now. It's like TMZ is because they can't keep up anymore because everyone with a cell phone can do exactly what TMZ is doing.
That's true.
So they gotta. Yeah, TMZ is gonna end up going down. So they're just.
I never even thought of that. I guess everybody can video and put it up on their own YouTube channel.
And now they got their own YouTube page, and it's like you might not have all the access that TMZ gets, but
you'll get some.
You'll still get some. Or
and some stuff goes viral, man, just because it does. That's interesting. Poor Harvey Levin.
I hate that guy.
You do?
I don't know. I'm not a person that like obsesses over celebrity.
Okay.
We're like, oh, this celebrity couple. Like, I don't care.
That's good. You're normal.
Yeah, I just like anytime it pops up on a news feed, I'm like, show fewer stories. I don't want to. I don't care that like.
Yeah.
He went into a liquor store and somebody like he said something I'm like, okay, he was a regular person. Like these are just regular people that just entertain. I don't know. It gets very when you get into personalized celebrities, I'm like, I don't care about this.
Okay.
Like,
so like if you saw somebody on the street, would you get like, I want a picture with them or not really?
No.
Huh. My friend is like that.
I feel like they just want to walk down the street and sometimes they can't just walk down the street.
Because Susanna wants a picture with
them. Right. Like I have a friend
that's
like that. Like he'll see athletes and he'll run up to him and like, I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, what is that doing for you?
Huh.
Because it's the same as you saying, oh, I saw this person. Like, now you're like, oh, you didn't meet them. You asked them for a picture and you stood next to them. You're not friends.
That's true.
They're not going to remember you.
Huh.
So I always kind of just like, if they're there, I'm like, oh, that's crazy. They're right here.
Yeah.
But then I'm never like, oh, I got to go take a picture with them.
Huh.
But I do check to see if they do anything weird. Like, he'd settle it with a spoon. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a weird person.
I think people maybe want the picture for proof, right? That they did see this person.
I don't know. I guess, but it's just like, I'm not going to disrupt your day to do it.
Yeah. People can be uncouth too. I think if people are like out with their families and they're in dinner and it's like, why are you coming and taking a picture? You know what I mean? That
like
would
if they're
be
with their children, like,
weird.
why are you doing that? They're off duty right now. Like they're not.
They're not yours. They're not this little animal. It's kind of like Justin Bieber. He was saying like he felt like an animal.
Yeah.
People were taking pictures of him all the time and like a zoo animal.
Yeah.
And
it's like you're just walking on the street and everyone's just taking pictures. Like,
So back to Amber Heard. Like, have you ever had like a crazy ex-girlfriend or crazy girlfriend?
No, I've avoided crazy very. Because I can see signs of crazy.
Oh, okay.
And like as soon as I see it, I'm like, all right, this is not a level I can deal with.
That's smart.
So I've pretty much avoided.
Do you have examples of crazy you've seen, like red flags where you're like, Is it like something that somebody says?
There's little things that like also drive me away. Like I was dating somebody and they would talk about celebrities, but it would be like they knew them. Like, oh, Kim is doing this. I'm like, who?
Yeah.
Like Kim Kardashian. Like, why are you on a first name basis with this person? And it got really annoying. I was like, I don't know if I could do this. Like, this is weird to me. Like,
I can hear all this celebrity talk.
Yeah. And it was just like, you're talking as if you know them. Like, nah, I don't want to hear that. And like, there's just other things. Like if they just latch on too quickly, I'm like, okay, this is weird. Like I'm not giving you the same energy, and you're like, I don't know. It's just like this little red flag. Like
love bombing a little bit.
I could just avoid. Like I feel like I've done well in avoiding crazy. I haven't had any toxic relationships, so that's
awesome.
Yeah. I always
Kudos
get
to you.
I always get my hoodies back. Nothing's fucked up when I get it back. Usually stay cool with them afterwards. So
that's good. It's healthy. Yeah. I think my friend and I were talking recently about love bombing because like men that come on too strong, like they're just always like a little too much, like you're beautiful, you're this, you're that, and it's just kind of like, is he full of crap? Is he a player? Like, what is this?
Right? Or it's a genuine thing, and you're like, "Fuck, this guy's weird. Like, this too. I don't like this. I don't want."
Believe
love
me,
right
when
now.
I was younger, like I'm a words person, and so, I've always been. I was the baby of the family, so like my daddy was important to me, and he was a very
Your dad was important. Gross.
He was a very quiet individual, hardly spoke. That was like hard. So like I always wanted to hear I love you, and it's like, and so I was always the one like, hey daddy, I'm here, attention seeker. And where was I going with that?
I feel like every youngest is the loudest.
Yeah, right.
It's very weird.
It is.
I remember I was dating somebody that was very loud. Or that she was the baby. Okay. And she was just the loudest one. Like, I'm here. Attention. Show me attention. I was like even just walked heavy just to make it a presence felt. I'm like, you're a little person.
Oh,
like,
that
why?
is really weird.
Yeah, you're like
I don't know
barely
about that.
5'3".
Yeah, and you're
like, you're just stomping around. I'm like,
that is kind of
that's weird. Just you announcing your presence, I think. Yeah. Like, they're always just very loud and chatty. Like,
so how many siblings do you have?
I have 2 older brothers.
Oh,
they're half brothers. Like we have the same father, but they're much older, like 8 years and 11 years older than me.
Oh, okay. So did you kind of grow up like an only child, maybe?
For the most part, yeah, because the one was already out of the house, and the other one was like, when I got to like 10, he was 18, so he was already out of the house. Okay. So then after that, it was just, then the parents got divorced. So it was kind of like, only child at that point. Okay. Wow. So like, raised by single mom, which is really super cool. I think sometimes they do a better job. Sometimes I'm on themselves. Oh, I don't know. Sometimes it depends on when you catch them. Because like my mom, I know she worked retail, so she would be home late. But then she was also just in her 30s, and I didn't realize like what 30s meant when you're a kid, and then you hit your 30s. You're like, oh, okay. So now I know what she was doing. Like, she's like, well, I got a kid I can leave at home, so I'm gonna go out and like have like.
Okay, yeah,
because she missed her 20s having a kid, so it was like dirty 30s hit, and I was like, oh, okay. And then you settle down a little bit, but like for like a good 5-6 years, like, all right, I'll learn how to make dinner. It's cool.
Wow, I got on my own.
Yeah,
wow,
I got this.
That's probably good for your independence, though, too.
Yeah, I learned how to cook. I learned how to do laundry and how to do everything.
Yeah, that's nice to have as a man, because there are men that are like. I don't want to say useless because that's a really mean word.
Well,
but
those
like
are the ones that 2 parents in the house.
Yeah,
their mom took care of everything.
And then they want to marry mom. They want to marry a mom that tells them what to do, and it's kind of a weird dynamic there too. But back my dad, like my dad would tell me, he was a very quiet man, but the things he spoke were really important and great. Like he would tell me I was the prettiest girl on the block. I know it sounds weird. And he goes, everybody else is ugly and whatever. And I don't know why I had to compare myself to everybody else, but I believed it. I was like, oh, thanks, Dad. I'm the cutest one on the block. So words meant something to me. So I had to learn quite quickly, especially growing up in church too. I was very sheltered. And when you grow up in a family where love does mean love, like when you hear that from other people, you think it means love too. Yeah. It might just mean I want to get into your
past. You don't realize like, oh, I'm just saying this to hopefully speed things along.
Yeah, I don't really mean it when I say it. So to see that in men was kind of hard for me. It was like, oh, like he's a cheater, like he cheated on me. What happened?
Like,
why?
He was a liar. That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, he came on strong, but like, I guess he's telling everybody this. Yeah. So,
see, I never cheated, you. I just never wanted. I hate drama.
Okay, so you've never cheated?
No.
Nice. Can I applaud that? Thank you.
But it was just like, I just hate have to like lie and to keep stuff up. Like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'd rather just.
It's probably very hard to keep up with one's lies if you're a player.
Well, as long as you just have one strain of lies, I guess. Like, it's when you get into the multiverse of lies and you try to keep up these different lives you've been living, like with certain people. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever been cheated on?
Yes. That has happened.
women, terrible women out
Just
there,
the
huh?
worst.
Yeah.
Believe all women might. No,
I know this is a clear indication that some women lie. Yeah. Amber Heard opened the door for a lot of weird things. She really has ruined it, hasn't she? Because like it's kind of like I wanted to believe her, but then there was something about it. I was like, because like when you hear stuff about other people, like when I heard James Franco stuff, I was like, okay, he seems a little creepy. I mean, just his demeanor. And I mean, he wasn't even a Harvey Weinstein in my opinion, but like, yeah, you start hearing things, but like Johnny Depp, I was like, gosh, he seems like such a, and it's so weird because we feel like we know these people, but we don't. I mean, they could be totally creepy and not know it. Yeah. But like when I heard Marilyn Manson, I was like, okay, yeah.
Right.
I don't think I could have ever dated him.
Right.
I mean,
could see him locking somebody in a room. It's a very much Marilyn Manson.
He's probably going to choke you. Beware.
Right. Like, but if you look at him, like it's on brand for
yes.
I was like,
yes. And I remember having Marilyn Manson conversations with a friend of mine because, again, I grew up in church, so that was like shock factor when like these people that are like grunge, like not grunge, but like devil worshippers and stuff, like beware. And so I was always scared of Marilyn Manson. Like, I don't want to listen to his music. Like, it's demonic, whatever. And then my friend's like, it's just an act, Susanna. It's just an act. He's just, putting on a show. And then to hear like, okay, wait a second. According to Rachel Evan Wood, it is not just an act. This is like really going down.
I just think it gets to a certain point where those people, it might have started as an act. And then since they did it so long and that's what they're known as, it's just like, all right, it's like a wrestler. Like a professional wrestler, they just grow into that person.
Yeah.
So now that person's always that thing that you like. Andrew Dice Clay wasn't Andrew Dice Clay. He was some regular, like Andrew Dice Clay was a character he did. And then it took off and now he has to become that dude that
is
guy,
Andrew Dice Clay.
And then that's him.
Because everybody expects that, I guess. Yeah.
So so Marilyn Manson, it might have started as an act, like a shock thing, and then it's like, oh wait, I'm getting a lot of attention doing this. I'm gonna keep doing this Marilyn Manson thing, and next thing you know, he's locking women in rooms, like
crazy. Yeah. Crazy. I saw the documentary on that. Wow, it was crazy.
There's a documentary about it?
Yeah, I think it's on HBO. I can't remember the name of it now, but it was really, it was a 2-part thing. And there was a time where she escaped him, like his family, like she, her family knew he was bad news, and it's kind of abuse, like that abusive relationship where I guess you're just embedded, and she escaped him, and then she went back, and it got worse. It's like, it's just sad, man, because what that does to a person, and then like the therapy that you have to go through to get all that stuff out.
It's just easier to go back than deal with like the stuff on your own. Like, I don't know how to deal with this right now.
Yeah. Anyway, enough of the depressive talk. But yeah, it's good to see America. There are good men out there that don't cheat. This is a good conversation.
We're decent.
Yeah. So when's your comedy anniversary? Like, when's that coming up?
March 10th was like the very first time I did a show.
Okay.
And then, of 2010.
Okay.
And then I think like I started doing open mics in January of the same year.
Okay, cool.
But I had taken workshops, so I knew how to write a joke and I knew how to do all this stuff before I even got it like in front of an open mic.
Okay.
So when I did the open mic, I had jokes and they're like, "Oh, how long you been doing this?" Like, "This is my first time." They're like, "Oh shit, that was good." I was like, "Okay," but I had worked it out, like, so I kind of cheated a little bit, but
okay, well. Studied
right
in a way.
I learned how to do things and like, all right, let me just go do this.
So what workshops were it?
Mikey O.
Is it Mikey O?
Yeah, he used to throw. So he would do is he'd bring comics in from out of town, and then let's say they had a show Friday, Saturday. He's like, come in Thursday.
Okay.
And then you could teach this workshop, and then all the money goes to them. And then I think you charge like $35, and you get 2 days. So it'd be Thursday and like a Saturday afternoon.
Wow.
So then we do Thursday night, and then we get to perform a little bit, so almost like workshop it and like do the open mic there.
Cool.
So I took like 3 or 4 of those with different comics.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So like Patty Vasquez was one. I don't know if you know Patty.
Yeah. She's headlining in July 30th for me. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
At the Hope, the same one you
so
did.
She did she did a couple workshops.
Okay.
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Cool.
So it was way easier than going to open mic. Like, all right, does this joke work? And
and not knowing the construction of a joke.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's nice that there was different comics too, because I think you can learn different things from different people. Obviously.
Yeah, I think there was. I think I did it with 3 different comics. So Patty, to do Manny Maldonado and Frank Lucero.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so what brought you to comedy? Like, were you one of these kids that were always like dreaming about it, or was
no,
it
I
like...
had no idea how to do it. I would
Okay.
just, because I would watch stand up as a kid, and I would see like Def Jam, and I'm like, all right, I don't know where they found those people to like be comedians. I didn't know there was an open mic process. I didn't know you could do clubs and all that stuff. I didn't know anything about it. And then I randomly got an email from Mikey O. I was like, where are you a class clown? Where are you this? And they're like, come take this little workshop. I was like, oh, okay, I'll try that. But what happened was I gave a best man speech, and it was like 150 people, and I had them all cracking up.
Oh, wow.
I didn't really know most of them. I only knew a few of them, but I was like, oh, this is kind of great.
Yeah.
Like to be able to talk and have these people like laugh. I was like, oh, I like this. But it was like a good 2 years before that email came. I was like, okay. And then once that came, I was like, all right, so this is a way to do it.
Yeah.
Now someone showed me where the door was. Like, all right, let me just try to put my foot in and see what's going on.
Cool.
But before that, I had no idea how to do mics. I know there's mics happening in the city.
Yeah.
I just had no idea where they were. None of that stuff. We didn't have any comedy clubs. We had Zanies. That was about it. And Zanies.
That's true.
Zanies did like a once a month showcase.
Okay.
And it was just like, you would email and like, oh, you're too new. Email me back in 6 months. I'm like, all right. Everybody in the show's new. Like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
And then so that was kind of like, whatever. I ain't going to try Zanies no more. Then I got started doing the Mikey O shows.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting to think back then because, like, I only know the comedy scene for what it is now. You know what I mean? Because I'm very new at it, very baby. I think 2 years will be happening in September. But it's like, like I just think of like there's a floodgate of comedy, but back when you were doing it, there wasn't. There was just
it wasn't. I'm trying to think of what clubs. The Laugh Factory wasn't there.
Yeah.
And then I think Comedy Bar might have just started opening.
Okay.
But they were in a different location. And then it was just Mikey O doing Mikey O shows. Jokes and Notes was on the south side.
Okay.
And then Zanies was the only club in Chicago. And then randomly out in Schaumburg in the Woodfield Mall, there's an improv.
Okay.
And then so you would see big names over there because that's where like the people would go before they started doing theaters. Okay. It was like the improv. You do a weekend there, it's 400 seats. You get whatever. Huh. That was another one that was hard to crack into because they only use like main national headliners. So it's like, well, they didn't need local guys that much unless you're hosting.
Yeah.
But luckily the Laugh Factory came and that changed everything.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many shows every night.
And then they started doing mics and they started like having a place for comics to hang out and stuff like that. So it was good.
Yeah. Wow.
And now they got the Lincoln Lodge, which is like,
have
you been there?
Yeah.
It's like 4 different rooms where you could do stand up and it's all the comics. I'm like, okay, this is a nice little club they got going here.
Yeah. I only went to whatever the orange room is or whatever. That one.
Yeah.
I was there with Claire Sunby, which I said her name wrong. I've been saying names wrong forever. I was like Sunby forever.
I just did a show with her. We did a show at a dispensary.
I saw that.
And she got hotboxed. She didn't realize she got so high off contact.
Oh, wow.
It was kind of funny.
That's funny.
Because she was on stage, she just starts laughing. Like, there's just so much contact. Because for whatever reason, you're allowed to smoke in the dispensary.
Okay.
So it's like if you go to a bar and you buy a drink, you can drink there. It's like if you buy weed there, you can smoke it there.
Wow.
So the whole room was just it. We like potheads are like some of the worst people to perform for. Not because it's like they get the jokes, but they get them late.
Yeah.
And then the laughter is so subdued because they don't want to embarrass themselves with laughing. Whereas like drunk people, like a good, nice buzz, like alcoholic buzz, that's always fun crowd.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of quick, they're kind of lively, but the potheads are like, and it's just like, okay, I'm not gonna get like I might get a couple big laughs, but there's a whole lot of all right. It's so chill. I was like,
so subdued.
Right. And then I'm on stage and I was smoking too. I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna be chill too. I don't know. Just got my arm on a chair, just hanging out.
Oh,
and it's just funny. You just look at them. They're like, okay. I was like, all right, this is a fun experience. But this is like a hard crowd. Like, you just see a lot of smiley faces looking at you.
Glowing people.
Just all
happy glowing people.
Droopy red eyed. It was kind of funny.
Oh, that is great. Yeah, I love Claire. She's good people. Wow. Speaking of weed, so you did this Killer Mike show.
Yeah, that was kind of dope.
Yeah, kind of. It was pretty cool.
I haven't seen it because I don't.
Really?
I never watch anything I'm in. So
really,
because I filmed it. So like I don't want to ruin it. I would love to see how they they edited stuff.
It's really cool. Yeah, I watched it twice actually. Tumbleweeds, Killer Mike for people listening, and it's on Vice TV.
Yeah.
And funny enough, okay, so I don't have. I mean, I have HBO, but it's weird. I was trying to look for it there, but I think it's like an app. So you have to download an app, Vice TV. At least this is the way I did it. I don't know if this is the only way to do it. And there's 4 episodes, and then you get 4 free passes. So you don't have to buy anything.
Okay.
So you could watch that whole series with the 4 episodes.
I might have to download the app and just watch mine. Because I heard it was good.
It was really good.
It was fun. It was like, I thought we were going to get to smoke weed with Killer Mike.
Yeah.
So we did it in this place called the Hoxton in Chicago.
Pop-up, right?
Well, the pop-up, it's a little store that's located in the lobby of this hotel.
Okay.
So when we were walking out, he's like, okay, we're going to walk down the street. We're going to film you 2 guys smoking and like just chatting. I was like, okay, cool. I get to smoke with Killer Mike.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden it just starts snowing.
Oh,
and it's just
that's
big,
right. It was
fat,
snowing outside.
Big fat flakes. And then Mike's like, man, I don't want to be seen smoking in the elements because I look like a fiend. Like just huddled over, like trying to smoke. And I was like
it doesn't matter that there's a snowstorm. I have to smoke.
Yeah. So we were just like, all right. So we just they kind of just filmed us walking into the thing.
Okay.
And
yeah.
Then I guess we had we had a conversation about the pizza and all types of stuff.
Yeah. So did you pick Pequods or did they?
I didn't know. They all picked the pizza. The thing was like I had to tell Mike. I was like, we don't eat this. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, Chicago, like, he wanted deep dish. I'm like, we don't eat deep dish. And he's like, what? That's what Chicago's famous. I'm like, that's what we sell to tourists.
Yeah.
But everyone in Chicago eats a thin crust cut into squares.
Yeah, okay.
It's a small, like, tavern style is what they call it.
Yeah.
And he was like, wait, what? And he's like, everyone I talked to is like, they're just telling you that because Chicago's famous for deep dish. You don't want to ruin it. But, like, real Chicagoans, we don't order it.
Yeah.
So they had some weird pizza, like places I never heard. Like they had a Pequod's.
Yeah.
Then they had some other thing.
So that thin crust wasn't Pequod's, right?
No, the thin crust was this.
It didn't look familiar to me.
It was this place called Paper Thin.
Oh, that's
and I
what
think
he
one,
meant.
And I think one of the owners happened to be partners or something like in that pop-up store. The pizza wasn't bad, but it was just very New York flimsy style.
Yeah,
it was super thin, so it was hard to eat.
Very thin.
Yeah.
See, when he said it, but now it makes sense because he said we got paper thin, but I didn't realize that. I just thought that was the type, and I was like, I don't think I've ever seen paper thin in Pequod's.
That was the name of the pizza.
What is that? Yeah, it kind of looked really like
it was super flimsy.
Speedway Dollar.
Like, yeah.
Sorry.
It was actually
it was amazing.
It was good though, but it was just like
cool.
it was just not a Chicago where I would. If I'm going to tell somebody we're going to go get Chicago pizza, I'll take them to like my favorite pizza place. And like, this is how we eat it.
Okay, what is your favorite pizza place?
Up by me, I go to this place they call Pete's.
Okay.
Pete's number 2. And then if I want like a little fancier pizza, there's is it Neapolitan style?
Yeah.
So it's kind of just like mixed mash, but it's really good. Like the dough and everything's really good. So I forgot the name of the place, but. I usually order from there, but
you have to give me that later because I love pizza. I mean, I'm in the quest for the best pizza all the time. And Indiana doesn't really
honestly,
have options.
Pizza all comes down to the sauce. Some sauces are sweeter, some sauces and how they can do, like they do the crust. If it's a little thicker, like, this is too much.
Yeah, I know what you mean with like the deep dish because like I know that people for the longest time, like I mean, I've always lived in Indiana, but I always was like, Giordano's. Everybody was like, Giordano's. And then it was like, wait a second, Giordano's is hitting like a bomb, I can only have one slice, and I'm like dying,
and that's the thing is like, and people in Chicago get trained on it because that's what companies will do. Like, we're going to give you guys pizza lunch. It's like, here it is. Get one deep dish. You get one slice. And then you're full. And it's become like this chain thing. And then now they're bringing it to Indiana. Like we have a Giordano's now. Yeah. And we have a Lou Malnati's now. Which I'm not a big. Are you Lou Malnati's? I don't know. I like Gino's East because I got used to doing a comedy bar. And like I'm starting to I like their pizza. And they got like a little personal one, so it's like 4 slices. So like I can eat this over a couple of days. Okay, so back to the weeds episode, the tumbleweeds. Like, how did that come about? Like, did somebody talk to you? Honestly, I have no idea. All I know is I was sitting at home and I got an email, and it was one of the managers from Zanies. Okay, and she's like, "Hey, this is Abi, and Joey Villagomez was in the email as well." And then I'm just doing an introduction. You guys take it from here. And I was like, okay. So then she's like, yeah, we're doing an episode with Killer Mike. And I emailed her back privately. I was like, run the jewels, Killer Mike? And she's like, yeah. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm in. I'm like, how much do we get paid? And they told us like, oh, whatever, I'll do it. And it's just it was legit. All we did was we filmed, and then we did the next day we did a stand-up set. Okay. And then that was it.
Wow.
And then they just came in and they filmed, and we did that. It was me, Joey did a spot, but he didn't get the interview. Chris Higgins, Jarrell Barnes, and Just Niche.
Wow.
So it was kind of cool. And like it was super cool talking to Mike. Killer Mike is just like, also I'm a huge rap fan, so I know him from like, and I'm a huge Outkast fan, so I know him from back in those days. And I was like, this is kind of dope. And then you're talking to him, like, oh, okay, he's just a regular dude, like you're just talking to. And then so it was kind of cool.
Oh
and then,
my God, that is awesome.
Yeah.
I was wondering, like, did you like? Because you don't have an agent, right? You're just doing your own thing, and you're like booking your own stuff and everything.
Yeah, I don't. I guess
which is nice.
They asked all the different clubs for like give us 2 different names. So I think it was like Laugh Factory might have did one, the Lincoln Lodge, and then Zanies.
Wow.
So yeah, they reached out, and then like so they sent out the to us. I was like, all right, cool. Like, let's do this.
That is super cool. Because I remember when you posted on Facebook, and I didn't want to bug you, like, how did you meet Killer Mike? But I was like, wow, what?
Yeah, we filmed some. And then we were supposed to do it earlier, and then he caught COVID. And
oh my God.
He caught that Christmas strain of COVID that everyone got. I remember
Santa Claus was handing out. Wow.
That COVID actually felt worse than the first one.
So you got it. All right.
I had OG COVID when it came out in 2020.
OG COVID.
Yeah.
That's great.
So I got the OG COVID back in 2020. Did they lock us down in 2020?
Yeah, it was March 16th or so of 2020.
And then they opened it back up for the summer, and then they shut us back down. Okay, so when they shut us back down in the fall, in Chicago they did. I think they shut us down in October. I was pissed because I was just starting to get good at comedy again from like having 3 months off. Because that first time back, I think it went from June to like mid-March or March to mid-June.
Yeah.
I was on a roll where I was like headlining. I was doing 45 minutes, 45 fit. So I was like, okay, everything was good.
Yeah.
And then the COVID hit, and I was like, all right, everyone shut down for 3 months.
You're right.
Then I went back and I did a show in Dubuque, Iowa for Comedy Bar.
Mm-hmm.
And out there, I think you only doing like 30 minutes.
Okay.
I got to 20, and I was like, I do not remember a single joke anymore.
You're kidding.
Yeah, and I was cruising, getting to like 45 to like an hour. I was like, oh, that was fun. Now I'm like, he gave me the light at 20. I was like, oh, thank God. All right, let me just do some crowd work, get the hell out of here. And I got off stage, and I was like, I legit forgot, because I just remember the main setup and then the punchline. And I forgot all the little things I added in between to make it like a 3-minute joke. So I was just doing boom, boom, and I was moving. I was like, damn, I didn't do anything like stuff in the middle. So the next night I was like, all right, I got to listen to like some old stuff to start. And it still took me a while. And then, and then I got back to doing it regularly with like half full rooms.
Yeah.
And then I did, by the time October came, I was like, okay, now I know. I get my stride. I got everything. Like, I'm remembering all the tags, and then it shut down again. I was like, ugh.
Oh, my God.
And then November, I caught COVID doing one show in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, we don't got to wear masks up here. Like this. And then I get home. Yeah. And then I get home, and I was like, my back hurts. Like, I got a lot of pain in my back for no reason. Like I had a hunch over, and I'm like, and then I was eating something. I was like, I don't know. This tastes funny.
Yeah, right.
And then I went and I started smelling stuff. I was like, oh, it ain't there.
Oh.
Then the fever came, and then I was like down and then after that I was perfectly fine for like 2 days. I had like a fever, and then after that I was fine. And then the smell and taste went away for like 10 days. I was getting so drunk because beer just tasted like LaCroix, like just like regular water. So it just tastes like fizzy water. It's like, all right, well,
it's time to pack out. Yeah,
I was at the
interesting.
I was at the house, and I remember like my girlfriend at the time, we were living together, and she walked in. She's like, "Did you just drink 8 Coors Lights?" I'm like, I guess, because it was going down. It tasted just like cold water. It was like, all right,
refreshing.
I was just getting hammered, and I was nervous. Like every morning, I'd wake up and I'd smell apple cider vinegar.
Oh.
So if I could smell it, I knew I was getting it back. So I'd be sticking my nose, and I was like, nothing yet.
Yeah, that's
like,
a
all right,
strong smell.
Start drinking.
Oh my God.
It took a while, and I was just like, I was so scared that I was never going to get my smell to taste back.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if it came back fully.
Really? Like, do you think it has?
I taste stuff, but nothing's as strong. Like, there's no strong odors anymore. It's really weird. Like, some people are like, man, like if I open a jar of weed, everyone's like, man, that stinks. I'm like, either I'm nose blind to it, or I got to get my face all the way like it's like can't.
Huh.
If it's a super strong odor, I could smell like a rest stop bathroom, I can smell that easily. But like food, sometimes it just isn't like, I don't know if this is back.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was scary. I did get COVID. Weirdly enough, I got it the first time, and then I knew I had it. Like I felt like I was like, okay, this is so different from anything I've ever been through. I have shortness of breath. I'm like,
see, I didn't get
I'm
that.
really tired and fatigued. I know, it's so weird how it like hits different people different ways. And it wasn't shortness of breath like I'm dying. It was like, okay, I just walked my dog half a block and I just am so exhausted. Yeah. It's like, what happened to me? And and then the taste kind of went half and half. It didn't fully go out. But yeah, I was scared of that. Like people were like, oh my goodness, there's people that haven't had it for 6 months and they never got it back and they're trying to get back.
That's the thing is like you listen to all these different horror stories. Because I remember I was eating a gyro. And I'm like, this should have a ton of flavor. Yeah. And the only reason I knew I was eating gyros because I recognize the texture. I was like, I can't taste the onion. I can't taste the sauce. I had French fries with like cheese sauce, and I'm dipping like I can't taste none of it. Like this was so upsetting. I lost like 10 pounds.
Wow.
Because food wasn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
So it's just like, what am I gonna eat? Am I gonna eat for sustenance? I don't care about that. Like I eat for flavor. I don't eat for like totally for fuel, body. Flavor. Yeah. I started eating broccoli because I was like, okay, this is the only time I'm probably gonna love broccoli. Right. It doesn't taste like anything. That's the time for everyone just to get all your vitamins.
To be healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, COVID was crazy.
But when I couldn't taste the gyro, I was like, damn, like this is sadness.
Yeah, it is sad. I think that's the worst part of it, probably.
Like, that's when you start realizing, like, man, I really miss tasting food. Like,
for sure.
I can't imagine people that don't have a sense of smell.
Oh, kill me, right? I think that would just be hell on earth. I mean, heaven on earth would be eating whatever I wanted. And like,
like skinny, people are like, you're granted like, one wish. I'm like, Funyuns are as healthy as broccoli. Like world peace, no, I don't give a like. And hunger, I don't care about none of your problems. I want Funyuns that have the same nutritional value. As broccoli. Yeah. And they're like, why? I'm like, I will be the healthiest person on earth.
The Funyuns.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a
Funyun guy.
I'm a Funyun fanatic. Like anything onion flavor. I used to eat, like we would get like fried onions, like you put on salads. Yeah. Like the Frenches. Yeah. And I would just buy bags of those and just eat that like it was a snack. God, wow. Like French onion soup. Anything with onions. I don't know. Anything with onions.
That's so funny because I have had friends that repelled onions. And I'm like, you're taking out what's the most flavorful thing. Like I had a friend one time and she didn't like tomatoes. She didn't like onions.
Tomatoes
you're on.
they ruin anything they're in.
Huh. They take like over maybe.
But not, no. They're just the most pointless. It's like having a wet coaster in your thing. Like I've never had a tomato add flavor to like a sandwich. Huh. Even a BLT, I'm like, no tomato. But it's not, I'm like, I just want the B and the L. Make the T stand for toast because I do not want tomato on there. Huh. It ruins a sandwich. It's all wet and slimy. Yeah. But I like bruschetta.
Bruschetta is really great. The olive oil and everything makes it for it. But I had a friend and like we would like to share food, but then I was like, okay, I can't share anymore with this girl because like she's taking out tomatoes, she's taking out onion. It's like, oh, she didn't like cilantro. I was like, oh man, I love cilantro.
That might be genetic to some people though, because I think there's some people that cilantro tastes like soap to them.
Yeah, I think I've heard that.
And I'm like, oh, how's it feel to be white? That's got to be very upsetting to you. Like, this is why white people are so angry. Cilantro tastes like soap. Our tacos are terrible.
Oh, I love cilantro. I love so good cilantro and salsa and in tacos. And you just pour it on the top. It's like so amazing.
I would hate to be one of those. I would hate to be one of those people that like this tastes like soap.
I'm glad it doesn't taste like soap. And she was Mexican, so I don't understand what's going on with that. But
I don't.
Maybe she lived in America for too long. It rubbed off on her.
Thinks that she's just like psychosomatic. Like, oh, I heard that someone said it tastes like.
Yeah, but I feel like you're taking all the flavor out. Like garlic would have been the next thing. I'm like, don't take out garlic. I mean, really, like.
That's why I'm glad I don't have any food allergies. I can just eat whatever I want.
Yeah, me too. That would be terrible to have a food allergy or be gluten free. You have to eat gluten free and like all that stuff.
If I had to, okay. But there's people that don't have to. Yeah. And they're just doing it. I'm like, you're just trying
like
to be
being
difficult.
A perk.
Yeah. And now everything's got like gluten free on it. Like I was looking at a package of what was it, arepas? Like
I love arepas.
Yeah. But they were like, oh, it's gluten free. I'm like, yeah, because it's made of corn. Like you don't have to.
It is made of corn.
You don't have to put on there. Like,
okay, I liked this guy that was Venezuelan for a little bit. He looked, he was very tall, looked white, like green eyes, whatever. But it was awesome to hear him speak Spanish because it was like an anomaly. It's like you're white and then you're Hispanic.
It's like when you see Argentinian, you're like, oh, wait a minute. You look
And
Italian.
he made arepas, and like, yeah, we went over to somebody's house and he made them. I was just like, oh my goodness, this is like, I can marry this man. He cooks too. He's cooking arepas, and he looks great, and he's Venezuela. Yeah.
See, that's why I like Puerto Rican food. It's the most basic food to cook.
Oh,
it's just all fried.
It's so good.
It's just rice fried, and like we're not big on sauces.
That's
so
true.
It's a very easy cuisine to make.
I guess you got the mojo, right? The mojo, like the.
But mojo is just a marinade.
Okay.
It's not like something like a sauce that you would
like
make.
Sauce.
Yeah, we're not very big. We have like stews and stuff, like carne guisado, which is a little bit like wet.
Did your mom cook like great Puerto Rican food when you were growing up?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So that's like everyone's like, where do you get the best Puerto Rican food? I'm like, my mom's house. And the service sucks, so please don't show up. Like, a lot of times she's not cooking on Sundays, so
it's not open 24/7.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where like people ask me, like, where do you get the good Puerto Rican from? Like, look, man, I eat it. And my mom's like, so me going out to eat it, unless it's like something she doesn't make often, like mofongo.
Yeah.
Because I'll go to a place for that, but I won't tell nobody where I get it from because I don't want you going there. Like, I want to support the business, but I don't want everybody to support it.
You don't want to see all your 20,000
right? Because I don't
want
to. Yeah, I don't want to wait fucking 10 minutes extra just to get because you guys are in line at this place. Like,
oh my God, that's so funny because I was gonna ask you where is a great Puerto Rican
food? There's a place I like. It's all the way up on the northwest side. It's Jibaritos on Harlem.
Okay.
And like their mofongo's always been on point. And there's another one, Jibaritos y Mas on Fullerton and Kimball or Pulaski. I forget which one.
I think I heard about that. Ken Flores had a post about that.
Yeah, Jibaritos y Mas is really good, but they're always super busy.
Yeah.
And that's why like the one I go to is closer to the house. I could just order online, go pick it up.
Yeah. Oh my, so I love Puerto Rican food, probably a little bit more than Mexican sometimes. Like I like Mexican food, but it depends on from where, because there's like a lot of posing Mexican. That's not really true.
There's like I'm used to Mexican food thinking like, oh, just the stuff I see, enchiladas, tacos. And then there's like Mexican food where it's like, no, there's actual like cuisine that I haven't eaten because I'm always doing the stereotypical stuff.
Like, do you like mole?
I've had it. And it's like, I don't, it's weird when food tastes like another flavor to me. So like mole kind of has like a real chocolate taste.
Okay, yeah, it can.
So it's just like, sometimes I'm eating, I'm like, I taste chocolate. I don't feel like I want to taste chocolate right now.
Yeah, with
like,
your chicken,
Yeah, so I'm not a big fan of like foods that have like a strong other flavor in it. Even though it's supposed to, but for me, it's like I know this as chocolate sauce.
Yeah, you want your chocolate to be your chocolate.
I want chocolate in my milk and my chicken. And I want
chocolate.
I want the chocolate in the milk and then a hot sauce on the chicken.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, and I think moles, it depends on who's making it too, because some people put peanut butter in it, some people put chocolate in it, and some people don't put any of that in it. So it's more of like the.
And there's like I heard that it's like it could be just a mixture of a whole bunch of other shit. So.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, and then there's green mole, which I've never had.
I've never had like a straight up like heart of Mexico style cuisine. Right. I've always had the street food basically for the most part.
Yeah, but I went to Puerto Rico back with some friends in like 07, 08, I think, and we went to. I had a friend that I know that owns a house there, so he loaned us the house in Ponce.
That's the best way to do it.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
So I rented a car, and I was the only driver, because like I rented it. So I mean,
driving in Puerto Rico, I fucking love too. It's reckless, but it's like playing Mario Kart in real life. Like there will be a banana peel coming at you. Like you'll be driving, like, oh shit, all right, that was a coconut and a turtle shell. Like what the fuck? What is happening right now? But it's so fun because the roads are so windy, and it's like,
oh yeah, it was awesome. And
it's terrifying, but it's like, oh, there's a semi on a road. There's only one way. Okay, that's cool.
It was so hard for me because like they're like, look, and I'm like, I'm trying to like drive and look, and I'm like, I don't want to get into an accident. But yeah, it's beautiful scenery, and then just going around the whole island only takes like 2.5 hours or something like that.
It's
like
going
around
4-hour drive,
from one side to the other, and then like and the little house in Ponce, and then like we went to the Parguera. So you're very familiar with Puerto Rico, right? Yeah, you've been there. And we went to La Parguera, and then like, so that's like the crystallized water, right? Like where you dump your hand.
With the bioluminescence, where like you move it.
I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
What is that?
Bioluminescence. It's like little things in a little algae. So if you move your hand, it kind of glows.
Yeah.
But there's other shit in there
cool.
too.
Oh yeah, is there like urine or?
No, I mean it's like animals in there that like you got to be scared of.
Oh shit,
because we went down there at night one time, and they took us out, and you could see behind us like everything was just glowing because you just dropped in the water. And then a dude jumped in, and then like you could see like his body trail, And then I was like, all right, but it's at nighttime.
Yeah.
So it's dark as hell.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where's this guy going? Like, I don't know what else. And he disappeared for like 2 minutes.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, now we wait for the body to come up, right? Like, just a bunch of glowing lights around his body. Then he just pops up and I'm like, what the hell? And he's like, well, there's something down there I had to avoid. I was like, what the?
Oh.
There's like little barracudas and stuff in there.
Oh,
like, it gets dangerous. But
I didn't know it was so scary. Because like we were in a boat and then like they had like a cutout point where you could put your hands inside safely, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
And then interesting.
But I here's the thing that I used to go to Puerto Rico all the time as a kid.
Yeah.
But I'd only go to my grandmother's house because my mom would just send me there for like summer break. Like, all right, well, I don't got to watch you for 2 months. Oh my God. Send you to Puerto Rico. I was like, all right, cool. So I just got on a plane by myself. This is back when I was like 10 years old, just on a plane by myself.
Oh my God.
Waiting and like, because back in the day, they used to be able to walk you to the gate.
Yeah.
So then you can go with your parent to the gate and then you're basically just getting on the plane and then they would meet you at the gate. So it was like, but then once it changed, and they're like, oh, yeah, you can't go to the gate no more. So now they put a little thing on you. And they're like, all right, this person's traveling alone. But I never went to Puerto Rico as like a tourist. So we would only see my grandmother's house out in the hills. Yeah. And then we went to the beach. And then I got an adult. I was like, I can go by myself. Yeah. So I didn't even tell family I was going. I just showed I showed up in a rental. I was like, all right, but I'm going back to the hotel. Like I'm gonna go there's a rainforest that I didn't even know that was there.
Yunque, right?
Yeah. So I went to the rainforest. I'm like, this is dope. Like, what are you talking? You guys hid all this from us. As a kid, you took us to the same old beach. Like, there's a lot of other shit out here.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It is beautiful out there. I really enjoyed my time, and I mean, I hate to say it, I again, like same thing with you. Like we would go to Mexico every summer, and it was just to our aunt's and grandmother's house, and we like within 4 walls, and we wouldn't go anywhere. It was just like we'd go to the corner store and buy a gansito, come back. You know,
they'd always ask me like, "Are you bored?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Oh yeah, I felt like I had a very
4 channels on TV.
Yeah.
3 of them are in Spanish. The other one's just Sesame Street all the time. Like, what do you want me to do? I'm staring at a mountain.
Oh my God, this relates so much. Yeah, I was like so bored. And I was like, I couldn't wait to come back to America. I was just like, oh my God, like,
then when the first time you went to Mexico as a tourist, you're like, oh, there's all these things you hid from me. Like, what the
yeah, we started going to like Monterrey, like in like La Sierra del Madre. And I was like, oh my soul, this is like so great. Yeah.
To this day, I've still never been to the east side of Puerto Rico.
Really?
I have it on my hand, so I pretty much did this whole section. I've never been on the other side of the island. So next time I go, I'm going.
So where is San Juan in your
San Juan is right here at the top, and then I'm from over here on this side.
Oh, interesting.
But it was like I've never been to the east coast of the island. I was like, I've never even seen it.
Wow.
So next time I go, like,
so it's your bucket list.
Yeah, next time I go, I'm just going straight from San Juan straight east.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So is Ponce?
Ponce is dead south.
Okay.
Yeah, straight in the bottom, because that's where my dad is from. Their family is his side of the family is from Ponce.
Okay.
So they're just it's like the legit straight south of San Juan.
Oh my gosh, that's cool. So when are you gonna go to Puerto Rico?
I don't know. I'm thinking I want to go. I like to go when it's cold here.
Yes.
So I want to go. Maybe like once it starts getting like that November.
Yeah.
As after hurricane season for sure.
Yeah, we want you to come back alive.
That September, October region. Avoid that. But
how are things now? Have they rebuilt a lot of the?
I haven't been there since, but as far as I could tell, the infrastructure is still messed up. It's still an island as the government doesn't care about.
Unfortunate.
It's kind of messed up.
Such a beautiful place. I had a great time, and like every time I hear Sheryl Crow's song "Every Day's a Winding Road." That was what was playing in our car when I was driving. I'm like, this is so on point. Every day is a winding road.
Yeah, I love driving, like especially because I came back from Ponce to my hometown, and we were coming. So instead of taking a highway, whatever Google Maps decided, well, this is the best route. Right. So it just went straight up through the middle of the island.
Ooh, I heard not to do that. You're not supposed to do that. Well, you're a guy. You're pretty like safe.
I mean, we were driving, but it was just like. Because it just goes like, it'll be like, oh, take the 106 to 111. And it's like, oh, but this is 111A. I was like, oh, so I don't know where I'm going now. Oh. So luckily, Google Maps at the time was stable. It was still kind of new. Yeah. But it was still stable enough that like, it just led me in a direction. And like, we got through it. I got to a point where I was like, okay, I know this part of the island. Okay. I was like, and I got to go that way. And then I went, like, okay, I know that part of the island. Like, I know that little waterfall. Like, all right, we got to keep going. We're on the right track. But going through the middle of it was scary.
Yeah.
Just because it's a small little road and it's like people with trucks coming through and it's like, oh,
The only reason I know is because when we stayed at Ponce, that little house, then we were going to go to a cueva and it was like on the other side of the island, like up. Yeah.
Camuy?
So maybe, yeah, I think so. I think so. And we were so excited about it because I've like never seen a cave. I'm like, this is gonna be amazing. And so we happened to stop at a McDonald's and we were just chatting with this guy, like just because we were just offering him information he didn't need to know. And we're like, oh, we're gonna go to the cueva, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh yeah, no vayas por allá. Oh, no, I'm talking Spanish, but he's like, I was telling him, I'm gonna go straight up. He's like, oh no, don't do that. That's dangerous for women. Like people will kidnap you and this and that. I was like, oh my God, really? He's like, no. He goes, it's gonna take longer, but go all the way around, take the safe road. And I mean, thankfully, we didn't have that experience because I was like, okay.
It was. I mean, there's not a lot of.
You were with other people, right?
It was just me and my girlfriend at the time.
Okay.
We had never, but the thing is, like, we didn't see anybody. We were just literally driving through the jungle, not the jungle, but it was like the forest. Wow. So we would just come up and then we would never come to a point where we went into a small town. So we always kind of just avoided this because that's where you get messed up is you cut through a town.
Yeah.
And then they see you and they know like, oh, that's a rental.
Yeah.
That's clearly a rental. And it's like, oh, hey, come this way. One of the scariest things that happened was I was in Colombia. It wasn't even scary. It was just we made it scarier. I was with my girlfriend at the time and her family, and then he started talking to a cab driver. Mm-hmm. So the next day, the cab driver showed up to take us to like this beach.
Yeah.
So we all get into this tiny little car to go, and then he starts driving, and he turns on this little road, and it's just gravel, and then people come out of nowhere, and they're just running on barefoot on gravel. Oh. And I'm like, what are these? And then they're like legit like running alongside the car, and I was like, and then so like I got my girlfriend's mom at the time, she was like tweaking. She's like, where the hell are you taking us? She started panicking, thinking we were going to get kidnapped.
Was your girlfriend white?
No, she was Colombian.
Oh, okay.
But they weren't from that part of Colombia.
Oh.
We were in Cartagena, which is basically just Puerto Rico, which is So we're just driving, and there's like a bunch of people just come out of nowhere, like out of and we're like, where the and we just run, and they're just running, like the guy's driving, like taking us to wherever. We're starting to panic. And then we get to the end of the road and it just opens up and it's a private beach. Not a private, but it's just a beach that no one really knew about. So
they were going to the beach.
So those people, basically what they do is, no, they live there, but so the guy will come, they pay the cab driver to bring people there. They give him a cut. And then what they do is like, they have like a little hut. And then you're renting it from them, and then they go and they make you food and they bring you fish, like fresh fish. It was great, but at the first time, like we're pulling in, it's just like a gravel road offside, and just people start coming out of like the bushes. We're like, what the hell is this setup?
Oh, God.
And then it was like we had the whole beach to ourselves. Like,
oh wow!
And then they made fresh fish. Like they caught it and then they brought it out. Like, what do you want? And I was like, okay, let's get this.
That's amazing.
And then the next day we took another like a little touristy tour.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna go have lunch, and then it took us right back to that same spot. I was like, we were just here yesterday, and it was like way better. It was so different, but it was scary just to see like,
yeah,
I don't know where I'm at. They know I'm clearly American. Like I'm the biggest, whitest thing in the sight. And like, we're gonna rob them. And it's like, and they're just running. I'm like, how are you running along gravel, like barefoot? This will hurt your feet.
Yeah.
Like, what's happening? Like, they're gonna take our shoes.
It's like, are we getting ready for a seance and
right,
like human sacrifice? Right, like, what is happening?
They're gonna take our shoes and get us out of here. Like, I don't know, but it was kind of crazy. And that's how I felt like it was in Puerto Rico. It was like, you just keep driving, but we just kept it moving. Didn't really see much. But now there's certain parts of Puerto Rico. I was like, yeah, definitely not going over there.
Yeah. Mexico's like that. I was just talking to my cousin, and there's going to be a wedding out there, and I'm debating about going because it's like, it's gotten to the point where, dead bodies on the side of the road, kidnapping, and I already look white. Right. And it's like, and every time I go there, I mean, I'm busting out with the Spanish because I want to look as native as possible. But it's like, I mean,
I got to build up a tan and go to Puerto Rico a little bit. Like, as soon as you take out that shirt, they're going to know right away. It's kind of wild. They could tell like oh, you're from Yafuera. Like that's the thing about Puerto Rico. You're either from there or you're from the outside. It doesn't matter where you're from. The United States is the outside.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah,
it makes sense with it. Let's talk HBO. I really want to know what your experience with HBO. So Abi is one of the winners of 2020, right? Entre Nos.
Yes, I won the COVID contest. Yeah.
The COVID. Oh wow, yeah, the COVID contest. So that you have all these restrictions. Then I'm assuming
it was virtual. So so the contest was virtual. What we did is I had entered in 2019.
How did you hear about it?
Honestly, I don't remember. It was in 2019. Somebody had maybe sent me a link or something.
Okay.
And then I answered, and I ended up getting in. I was a finalist. They flew me out to New York, and then I didn't win. And then, so in 2020 came along, they said they were doing it again, and I just jokingly put on the Instagram post, like, hey, can I sign up again? And they're like, yeah. I was like, all right.
Oh, cool.
I was just a finalist last year, and then I got in again for 2020. I was like, okay. And then this one, they flew us, it was 5 of us. A couple were already in LA, but some of us, they flew us out there, and we just did it in a soundstage. But it was basically just a wall, like with, I think it was like 75 different monitors. Oh. So they would just they would just put people in it, like Zoom. It was like a Zoom show, but you're standing on a little platform with all the faces around you, like in a 360.
Way.
Yeah, it was pretty cool how they did it.
Because when I watched it, it didn't seem that way.
That was the.
That was the taping.
So that was the contest for me to get the taping. Oh. So the contest was like 5 minutes. I think I did 6. Okay. But it was just like a virtual thing.
Gotcha.
So I was worried about, like, so then I ended up winning that. And then I was worried about when they were going to film. Is it going to be the same thing? Oh, yeah. Because they were looking for places to open up. And I think Florida just stopped caring. So, like, yeah, come on down and do Florida.
Oh, so you guys filmed in Florida.
So we filmed it in Fort Lauderdale. At the Hard Rock.
Wow.
They have like
that's cool. I like that Hard Rock there. It's like a big guitar, like sitting up the right.
Yeah, it was a really nice hotel. And they filmed it in the comedy club they have there. But it was still, because like with Hollywood and all that stuff, they still want to look like they care, even though like they don't. So it was like, it was socially distant unless you knew the group, and then you could sit together if it was a big group. Okay. And then, but they didn't want to show anybody sitting there with masks on. So I don't know if you noticed that, like, there's not a lot of cuts to the audience.
No, and it's like all the backs of the people, not really faces.
Yeah. See, because they didn't want to date the stuff with the mask and everything like that.
Sense.
Yeah,
and it was better.
It was a very because it's just outside Miami. Yeah. So like the first tape, luckily we did 2 tapings, and the first one, it was kind of like it was people that are just. They weren't ready for a show. They didn't have that show energy because it was still kind of sunny out in Florida. It was just it just got done being 90 degrees. So everyone's kind of like just taking their time. Yeah. So they're kind of chill. And then the 9:30 show came along. And that one was like when you walk into a room and everyone's kind of like buzzing. Like, this is way different.
Yeah, this is the vibe we want.
And all right. So I haven't watched it. So I don't know which. Okay. I don't know if they combined the sets. Okay. But then also I'm getting into a bad habit of like performing and then holding the mic stand. Like I just put my arm on it. So when I was filming, I was like, I have to do this again, but I have to make sure I hold the mic stand.
Because now I'm gonna need it and I watch it to see if you were holding it or not.
Yeah, there might be times where I'm holding it and then it cuts to a different joke. So that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know how they edited it.
So did they not want you to hold the mic stand?
No, it's just me and my own thing where I was just like continuity. Yeah, I have to learn. That's one of the things I got to learn is like not to hold the, like, it's one of those things where you just touching home base. Like, I'm safe. Like I'm safe right here. Even though the mic's over here, like I'm still safe. Yeah. So I got to get out of that habit. But that was just like filming it. It was great. It was a like awesome experience. That's why I haven't watched it, because I was like, I don't want to ruin a memory. Like, man, I didn't do as good as I thought I did. That was really bad.
No, it was a really good set. I enjoyed it. I watched both. You and the other guy.
Cisco.
He was, he was funny too. And like, it was just such an interesting experience. And I was just wondering how it all happened, because like, it's interesting when opportunities can come, and, it's great that you like applied. Like some people, I know somebody right now that's not a comedian, but he's very talented, but there's no, like, he doesn't really want to like put himself out there. And it's like, you've got to, like, you're so talented. A little bit, like, yeah, you can't just let the opportunity come to you if you're sitting in your little living room. It's not going to come. It's not going to come.
Because I had somebody that was like hating on me, like, oh, I would have won that. And someone asked, like, did you apply? And they're like, no. It's like, then how could you have won? You didn't even take the first step to do the thing. Yeah. So how could you have won this? Like, so it's like you just wanted to talk shit. And I think for
like
me,
he literally went up to you and said I could have won that?
No, this was secondhand information that I heard, okay. But I was like, it's the person that calls me Abby I don't like. But I just heard, I was like, he never even applied. You know what I'm saying? It's just like one of those things. So it's like, if you don't do the thing, even just, it costs me nothing to apply.
Exactly.
And it's
I
just
love
like,
that.
yeah, if it
Like,
costs
take
you
the
nothing, then
chance.
just, what did it hurt?
Yeah.
Even me asking, can I reapply again? I wasn't
Yeah.
going to apply because I was like, oh, I got it last year. I won't get it. They're like, oh, no, definitely apply. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So then when Gwen LaRocca, when she got it, I was like, should I apply for a third year? See if I should get this or not?
And she was just talking about it, and same thing happened. Like, she didn't win, and you won, and she was so happy for you.
Yeah.
And then she did it, and then she won. So yeah, it's like super cool. It's like, what an amazing experience.
Right.
And I love that they have it.
Back-to-back winners from Chicago.
Yes.
So.
Yes. And I was like thinking about that. I'm like, man, because there was something I watched. I think maybe it was the Killer Mike that they said like Chicago is like a tougher crowd to please. Like it's not like Chicagoans, like the people. Like it's like because they have a plethora of comedy and they're so
Right.
like worldly and like they're living in this Mecca city, and so they're exposed to so many things, and it's like that they're like a harder crowd to get to laugh. I mean, I don't know. Do you feel that or not really?
No, I mean.
You're probably okay. If you're a good comedian, you're a good comedian.
Yeah,
if
you can make somebody laugh, you can make them laugh. But like, it's harder, I think, to do like as a comedian to do only shows in Chicago, and then go to another town and do it, because all you talk about is your city life, and I'm in a smaller town, and they don't know anything about taking a bus or taking a train or doing that other stuff. So it's like a lot of people complain like, oh, they didn't get me. Like, well, they don't have a lot of fucking gay like train riders here, like. Like you're right. There's no subway, so what do you want them to do? Like,
because they're probably processing it like, they're thinking,
right? Like
they're not with you
at
the moment of like train and
right. They still smoke indoors. Like, what do you want? Like, it's a different mentality. Like, because even doing like the show we did in Hobart, that's a different. I mean, you're an hour away from Chicago, but it could feel completely different than Chicago.
Oh yeah.
So it's
definitely
like
different crowd.
Yeah, and it like I started noticing that like a lot of like the more rural crowds like dirtier jokes. They like making fun of my wife type stuff and like all types of like dirty, and then like and you get to Chicago like a little more what's the word, intellectual a little bit, like it's like more clever, I would say that, versus just graphic like, oh, I farted in her face, and then like that would kill out there, but like here you're like, oh, that's disgusting. So you got to find a little ways to be clever, and then like you can work both ways. So I think like Chicago, you got to they appreciate like more cleverness to your jokes than just in your face with like
I like that.
So
it makes sense. It really does. Yeah, you killed it in Indiana. It was like 23 minutes of just constant laughter. They just loved
you.
They
were fun, though. It was a fun crowd,
Yeah, and I think that they are like, I think Indiana's kind of begging for comedy. Like they're
all these little towns are, because they're so excited that they're doing something. Like there's not much to do. So when they have an event, like they show out for it. Like so it's not. As long as places stop having options and just like bring an event, like, all right, we're definitely going to go get tickets. The crowds might be a little more rowdy because this is an event and they've been drinking all day and they start to get real chatty. Yeah. Like
I try to do a longer show with a lot of comics because I feel like they're starving for it. And then some people are like, that's a long show. And I'm like, well, they're not hearing comedy every night. They don't have a Zanies and a Laugh Factory and a Buddies and My Buddies where you can just go down the street to a little bar and hear comedy. It's like they're not getting it. They have to drive. And a lot of people from Indiana do not like driving to Chicago. I mean, I love it, but some people don't. They're just kind of in their own little towns and they want to stay in it.
I can imagine that. I feel like I would drive to Chicago. If I lived out here, I'm like, all right, I'll find something out here. Like, I'm not going to drive an hour into Chicago.
Right. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So it's interesting because you've been at it for so long, for like 12 years, I guess, right? So, because I always think of you and I think like, man, if I was like a seasoned like, is it kind of fun to know that like you're on the other side of things? Like you are established and you're like, I kind of like walking into a place and like, oh, okay, obviously, or maybe we can get him up, or like I walk into open mic, like I could bump this person. Like I try not to do it just because like it got done to me, but it's like sometimes like I want to try this thing out. Let me just go into this mic, and then people see me like, fuck. All right, I'm definitely getting bumped if Abi's here, and then like I don't always do it often, but I just like knowing like I can just walk into places. Because you're comedy full time, right?
Well, I do it as often as possible. I ended up getting a job just because COVID kind of took a lot of funds away.
Because you used to do, I heard you did like IT, which like I can't stand.
I can't
technical
do it.
IT stuff at all.
No, I can't do that anymore. So I just basically got like a regular maintenance job. And I was like, I'll just do this. I can leave. I can take whatever days off I can.
Cool.
If I got to do comedy. So I'm still doing shows every night or as often as I can.
Okay.
And then now I'm just trying to get out of doing shows in Chicago as much, just because I know I can do well in Chicago. So I want to get out and see how things work in other parts. So now that's my focus, is like hitting different cities.
And you do like Iowa and like you did South Bend, right? Maybe.
Yeah, I did the drop in South Bend, and then I'm doing Fort Wayne in the end of July. And then but I want to start getting out to like Louisville, Nashville, Indianapolis. Yeah,
Indianapolis. They have some good comedy clubs out there.
They got a Helium. I think they actually got an actual club now.
Yeah, that Helium looks nice. So is there anything about the comedy game that frustrates you?
The pay is still from the 80s. They have not upped the pay, and it's kind of crazy when you see what they're making like at the door. And some places like, oh, these are $20 tickets, and you sold 400, and I'm getting paid $30.
Ooh, yeah.
And you're like, and then you're also getting some of the liquor sales. So it's like, why are we still? And especially with gas prices being,
oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, there's some places like, okay, you want to drive out to like Portage, Indiana, and it'll be like $150. And then like, okay, offset it, I get $100 out of it, whatever.
Yeah.
Then like, oh, you want to drive up 4 hours into Wisconsin, no room? I'm like, why would I do that? I would spend 8 hours in a car for $150 when I could just do the 100. I can get 3 shows here in Chicago and make 100, and I didn't have to drive. You know what I'm saying? So it's like one of those things that the pay has to go up. Yeah. And it's never going to, because comics will what we're willing to do for $50.
Right. I know. I saw I think it was Sarah Perry. She had an article up, and I read it about pay. Yeah. And that the Comedy Store forever like didn't pay.
Right. They just
at all. Like nothing.
And now I think they give you like $30 or $25, like,
which is interesting. Yeah. And I was thinking about the article. I read it, and I was like thinking, and like, what is the solution? It said, and I have a brother that's a big union guy. You know, he's a mechanic for
that's
CTA.
What they try to do with the Comedy Stores. They try to unionize, and like, then they're like, all right, fine, we'll pay. And the comics are like, all right, cool, we'll take our $30. Forget the whole union thing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and unions can be good and bad. Like I went to Second City for acting. What were you saying?
You'll get a lot of comics that just won't, like, I'll just do it anyway.
Yeah, that's the thing. You would have to convince every comedian ever, anywhere, to not do the show. Like branch together, strike. Right. Which is hard to do.
Yeah, because you're gonna get like, nah, I want to get stage time, and I'll take the $30. I have a job that I can.
Yeah, offset. Especially if you're new and you kind of want, like you said, you want to get out there. Yeah. So are there gigs that you say no to?
There's assuming that. Well, in the city, I'll take any gig, like in the city, just because it's like I'll use that as the open mic. So I don't. So like you're gonna give me $20 or whatever. You're giving me 12 minutes. I'll go do it. Okay. And then, but now if I got to travel for a certain amount of like time, I'm just like,
that's crazy, because I would have never thought that you would be making $20 for 12 minutes as who I know you as.
No,
you know what
I mean, yeah, I was still.
But I guess there's little rooms that
there's still a bunch of little rooms that are like, all right, we can give you $20. Like, all right, that's fine. Just let me get 12 minutes, and I'll just mess around. Yeah. But you're right. It's better than an open mic, because you're not going to get 12. Yeah. So I can mess around and extend things.
For your big headlining. That's, and I don't have 45 minutes or whatever.
Right, and I don't have to go anywhere. Like, it's a 20-minute drive. That's fine.
Yeah, whatever. You're right there. Yeah. Huh. So what's the longest set you've done? Like,
I think I've done like 55. Okay. Yeah, I kind of like lose steam around the 50 mark, but the audience does too, depending on how long the show is. Okay. So like, I feel like the sweet spot's usually around 30, 35. But if you can keep them going, then it's good.
Yeah, but very cool.
I try to keep it like to around 45 to 50 in there.
Yeah. Wow. So. Yeah, I don't think I've seen you do the 45. I think the longest I've seen is a 23. Yeah. I need to come out when you headline and do that. Because that is, I mean, I was impressed at 23. I was like, oh my God. Like, I mean, you know, obviously as young comics, we look up to you and the Gwens and the Patty Vasquez's and like all these people that have been doing Joey Villagomez. And it's like, just, there's just so many things that I study. I listen to you guys, and I also study you like timing whatever presents. I just think that there's like something that you have that I feel like I will never have. Maybe it's like this coolness, like you're just naturally like cool on stage, right?
Yeah, I mean, it took a while before because I would be nervous, and then like, all right, let me. I feel like I'm getting too comfortable on stage now. It's like I got to start getting uncomfortable a little bit, where I gotta like, like I said, move all the furniture away so that way I have nothing I can just hang on to. I kind of just have to stand there.
Yeah.
Like, now I'm just like, I'm super cool. Like, nah, I gotta like.
That's what I meant by like, it's got to be awesome to just be like, okay, I have like hours and hours of written material. Yeah. What am I doing today? Is it not like that?
Well, for like 20 minutes, I could do that.
Okay.
But if it gets to be the longer, it's like, all right, I got to like put this in order. And
okay.
Like 20 minutes, I could jump around and, whatever. But like 45, you're like, all right, I got to have this.
It's got to be structured.
It's got to be structured. Yeah.
Do you wait till you get there to write your sets? Or do you do it ahead of time?
Yeah, I usually do it there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of just feel them out, and then it depends on like what the person in front of me did. So I was like, okay, maybe I could play off something they just said, and then I'll just eat up some time. Then it'll be a segue into something that was out of order, but I can still use it. So it's all like I just write the bullet points out. Like, all right, I want to hit these beats in this order, and then if I don't, as long as I can switch things around and get back to where I want, that's fine. And that's one things like about doing a joke so often. It's like, all right, now I know what I can move around and what has to stay there, otherwise it doesn't make sense. But other than that, you can just start playing with stuff. And that's why I do those 20-minute sets where it's just like, all right, so now I could just change the order, start with the closer, and see how I can end on that now. It's like, because you get to 45 minutes, I look at it as like 3 15-minute sets.
Okay.
Instead of looking at it as like a whole 45-minute thing.
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
we're like, oh, I need it. It was like, oh, if it's 3 15 minutes, I can get them to a point and then like start over again after the 15-minute break.
That's very interesting.
So you build them up, and then you come back down, and then you start bailing them, and then you come back down.
Yeah, there's got to be ebbs and flows, I'm assuming.
Yeah, because you learn how to take your time a little bit. It's like, let a joke sit for a little while, or you may play with it. But I break it down to like 3 15-minute sets.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have to learn that too, because it's so funny. I'll like practice a set at home and it's like 10 minutes, and then I do it and it turns into 8, and I'm like, how did that happen?
Because you got to stage and you got to rushed it. Yeah, when I first started
talking, apparently.
When I first started, I was super scripted. I was just like, all right, I wrote it out on like a Word document. I was like, all right, I got to tell this like this.
Yeah.
Then I started learning it. I was like, all right, I don't need that no more.
Yeah.
And I used to write bullet points on my hand, and then I was like, all right, I don't need that anymore.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So who are your like comedy influence? Like, who are the people that you look up to?
I mean, it's always just the stereotypical ones. Like Dave Chappelle, obviously, is like for me, that's my guy. Bill Burr is another one. I love Joe Coy and his ability just like to tell a story and just like have people drawn, and like just the way he does it is always good.
Yeah. He's with my girl Chelsea Handler. I love Chelsea Handler.
And then Eddie Murphy for me is like growing up. I remember I saw Eddie Murphy Raw in the theaters. Yeah. Like I was like, my older brother took me. I was like, oh, this is rated R shit. And I was like, okay. And then I saw that. I was like, wow, that was amazing. Like, how did they get to do that?
That is really cool that you got to see him live.
Well, it wasn't live. It was in the theaters.
That's right. Okay,
yeah, because like,
you said that.
Yeah, Eddie. That's when they would put comedy specials in theaters. Because I remember I saw Martin Lawrence's comedy special in a movie theater.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they would put a lot of specials in theaters. It was weird. And now I think they just went straight to HBO after a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very cool.
I think Fluffy or Kevin Hart were the last ones to do a movie theater release on a special.
I know it's kind of hard to remember that, but yeah, I guess so.
Because I know Kevin Hart did the football stadium.
Okay.
In Philadelphia, which was like too many people. Like
that's huge. Yeah.
It's like 50,000 people. Like, and he's such a little person. Like, how would you even see him on stage? Like, you have to watch a monitor. Like, I'd rather watch it at home. Like,
yeah, you need binoculars at that point. And so much about it is expressions, right?
Yeah.
People's expressions.
I think Chicago theater is probably like the biggest room that I seen where I was like, okay, this is still a good spot to watch comedy.
Yeah.
And then you get too big and you're like, all right, I can't even see the person I'm watching the monitor.
Yeah. I'm really picky about that with ticket sales, even with concerts. Like, I can't be in the nosebleeds. Like, I mean, that to me is like, there's no point into that. It's like, I got to be front row or I don't want to really go, or like close to the front. I know it's like poshy, but I'm like, I need to be up there in the front.
My concert's like, is there going to be a seat? Because I'm not standing. Like, I need a dedicated seat for me. Otherwise, I'm not going to this shit.
Oh man, you're gonna think I'm crazy because I have done crazy stuff. Like the last Slash concert I went to, I took a chair that I didn't care about. I was like, I'm gonna lose this chair. I went at 3 p.m. It was freezing cold outside with my coat on, hat, gloves. I sat out there in front of the Vic Theater. I was like the 11th person. And finally it was like time to go in. And like I went and bought a burrito, and then like somebody's like, can I sit in your chair? I'm like, yeah, you can take my chair. And they're like, awesome, I'm jealous of your chair. And then I was debating, I'm like, do I take this chair back to the car? I'm like, F the chair. Like, I don't care. I'll just leave it there. And then as I go in, I'm like thawing inside, but I'm front row. It's a commitment. It is a commitment.
No, I only buy assigned seats now. Can't do it. I was at a concert standing up, and I was just like, wow, I'm the guy that stretches now. Like, oh yeah.
God. Especially as a tall person too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I feel like we have
gravity's
back problems.
killing me right now. I'm like a Great Dane.
Oh my God. Well, anything you want to plug in? What are you doing tonight?
I'm doing Don't Tell Comedy. I know the venue, but I don't know if I can tell it. It's a cool concept for the show.
Oh, because it's hidden, right? Is that how it happens?
So basically you buy the tickets. They tell you what neighborhood it's going to be in.
Okay.
You buy the tickets. They don't tell you the venue until 24 hours before.
Oh, okay.
And then and then you just show up, and it's always been fun because it's always in a different like type of venue that you're not used to. Like I did one, it was like a piano studio.
Oh,
like
awesome.
Another one was like an art gallery or something like that, and one was like a realty office.
Oh wow.
And they just they find these little weird venues.
That's super cool.
Yeah, and there's always like a super fun little intimate show.
Oh
which
wow.
It's kind of cool. Yeah, and then Laugh Factory tomorrow. I don't know when this is going to come out, but
it's probably not going to. We should keep going.
Yeah, we'll go a little bit further. Catch me in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I will be. I forgot the name of the club that's in Fort Wayne, but I will be there at the end of July.
Okay, so what is that? July 30th is a Saturday.
22nd.
Oh, okay.
Let's see.
July 22nd is a Friday
July
night.
29th and 29th and 30th in Fort Wayne.
Cool.
Yeah. I wish I was better at remembering the name of the club, but
that's all right. People can Google it. So July 29th, and Fort Wayne's like what? Is it like 4
I have no
hours
idea.
away?
Isn't shit.
Or 2? Is it 2 from here? Yeah.
Okay. 2 from here?
Maybe.
So that's 3 hours for me then? Yeah.
Cool. All right.
So that's probably much the only thing I got.
Yeah.
I mean, I do a lot of local stuff, but it's always kind of just pops up randomly. Hey, can you do the show?
Like last minute stuff.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I gotta get better. I gotta get a tour. That's what I gotta do.
Yes.
Find a manager.
Yes.
If anybody's listening.
I really do feel that way about a lot of comedians in Chicago. You were one of them.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you guys should be on Netflix. You guys should be. Like, I feel that way. Like, I feel like, we all see Netflix specials and stuff like that. And again, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. I really do believe this. And my friends can attest. I do not give a compliment. Like, people get a weird haircut. I'm not like, oh, it looks great. I'm like, I just don't say anything. I'm like, well, yeah.
That was a choice you made.
Yeah.
Congrats on making a choice today. It was good or bad, we don't know, but you made a choice. So proud of you.
That's awesome. Yeah. But I feel like, my gosh, I feel like there's people that have, like, you guys are so good that you guys should be on those specials already.
Yeah.
Or like touring for somebody or opening for somebody.
That's
like,
the thing.
I mean, I went and saw Chelsea Handler a couple times, and I'm not saying like she had good openers, but I'm like, they're just as good as anybody I've heard. Like a lot of people that are seasoned in Chicago, I should say.
That's how I felt when I went to New York. I think New York was like, oh, it's gonna be this mecca. Super, everyone's just killing it. And I got to I think I did a mic. I was like, oh, they're just as bad as everyone else. Like, there's just more of them.
Wow.
There's just more places. I was like, oh, they're not. I mean, the top level, their top level definitely beats. I would say is like a little bit better than our top level here.
Okay.
But as far as like their mid level, I was like, oh no, you guys are just okay. I'm not intimidated by the city no more.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's like all right, I'm good.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a good place to be.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, I know I can be funny anywhere now because I was like, some of these guys are trash. And it's like that anywhere. They come here and like, wow, these guys are trash. And like we get people to come in from LA to Chicago.
Yeah.
And like everyone on the show is just killing. And then they go up there and like, oh, you guys are good. I'm like, yeah, because we didn't just get by and like, oh, we look good.
On
so
good
people
looks.
Yeah,
I
we actually had to tell jokes.
I agree.
I mean, not everyone that comes from LA is trash, but there's someone where it's just like, oh, you're skating by. And then you come here and you get exposed a little bit. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But that's just I tell everyone, like, I know how to kill in Chicago.
Yeah.
So I want to learn
You
how
know
to
your
do
city.
It. Yeah, I know how to do that. Like it's not even like references of the city. It's just like also just like I know the people, I know the vibe, I know how to handle the stuff. So I was like,
you fit well with the vibe. It's like street, and it's like I like the cleverness. I never even thought of that with Chicago.
Yeah,
but you got to be clever.
Yeah, you can't just be like, just plain like.
Yeah,
you got to like let them think like, oh, okay, that was kind of cute. All right, I'll take it.
Oh my God, it was so great to have you here. We ran the gamut, and I had all these questions I don't even think I got to.
Part 2.
Yes, definitely a part 2. Oh my gosh, thanks again. I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, let me know when this comes out so I can share it.
Yeah, definitely.
Will do.
Well,
thank you.